Good morning, YouTubians. It's Kermit's Ghost. You can call me Alan. It is Monday, the 2nd of December 2024, just over 3 weeks to Christmas Day. Hope everybody is prepared for that. There are some big titles coming out today, the likes of Alien Romulus, Godzilla Minus One, Beetlejuice, plus there's a whole heap of back catalogue titles as well. You got the 4 Critters box set from Arrow, who are also releasing The Great Escape. They're also releasing The Great Escape on 4K as well. Box Trolls is getting a re-release today, as is Coraline. Plus there's a fair few 4Ks on top of that. You've got Galaxy Quest, you've got Fisher King, Shaun of the Dead, plus many, many more. Now, just how many of these titles HMV will have in stock is anybody's guess, but we are about to find out, as I am about to head up into the city, into HMV, which is just 5 to 10 minutes up the road from me. But before that, a latte from Costa Coffee is required. So that's going to be my first port of call, not a sponsor. So let's go. So as indicated, my first port of call is Costa Coffee for my morning latte. Now I've made a decision to switch to decaffeinated coffee, as I've noticed on those rare days I go without a coffee, I tend to get a splitting headache. So I know this means I'll get a headache as the caffeine works its way out my system, but it's better in the long run. Fingers crossed. So I've taken the lift purely to show you the Chandelier of Shame, and now there's a grotto, as I mentioned last week, which is now up and running. So it's time to head into HMV, which has just opened, and film the physical media releases of the day. I will start with Bilatar, a Curzon collection. Bilatar being a Hungarian filmmaker. This set includes Family Nest, The Outsider, The Prefab People, Macbeth, Autumn Almanac, Damnation, Shatan Tango, Wreckmeister Harmonies, The Man from London, and The Turin Horse. £89.99 for this release today. Next is Dragon Ball Z The Complete Collection, a massive 9-season set containing episodes 1 to 291 put onto 36 discs. This is priced at £129.99, which is a tenner cheaper than Amazon at the moment. It carries a 12 certificate and has a runtime of 7,025 minutes. One of the big titles of the day is Alien Romulus. This is a Disney Buena Vista release. It's a sci-fi horror from this year starring Kaylee Spaney. You can expect more carnage as lots of aliens are once again set loose. This is available on both 4K and Blu-ray. They both have slipcovers, which are slightly different in colouring. The 4K is priced at £24.99, whereas the Blu-ray is priced at £14.99, and they carry a 15 certificate. Another big title this week is Godzilla Minus One. This sees the big monster back stomping all over Japan at the end of World War II. It was directed by Takashi Yamazaki with a budget of just $15 million. It's also available on Blu-ray and 4K. Blu-ray is priced at £16.99, whereas the 4K is priced at £28.99. HMV didn't have their exclusive release in store today, but I am sure it's available on their website. The Count of Monte Cristo next, an action-adventure drama from this year set in 1815 during the exile of Napoleon Bonaparte. This follows Edmond Dante after he has escaped from prison after serving 14 years to return to Monte Cristo to seek revenge. £14.99 for this movie. Beetlejuice next, a dark gothic comedy from this year that is a sequel to Beetlejuice from 1988. This sees Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara return from the original cast. And alongside we have some new characters played by Jenna Ortega, William Dafoe and Monica Bellucci. The Blu-ray is priced at £14.99, which comes with a high gloss slipcover, and the 4K is priced at £24.99, also with a slipcover, but it has a different image to the Blu-rays. Eyeball next on 4K from 88 Films. This was pushed back from the 25th of November. This is a giallo slasher horror from 1975. It's about a group of American tourists that are being targeted during their break in Barcelona. The killer removes the left eye of the victim. Now, the special edition includes an 80-page perfect bound book as well as double-sided poster and replica lobby cards, all for £34.99. Or there's a standard 4K without the rigid case and the extras that I just listed for £24.99. This film carries a 15 certificate. Next is the 4K release of The Fisher King on the Criterion label. It's a drama from 1991 starring Robin Williams and Jeff Bridges. It's about an ex-radio presenter who gives the wrong advice to a caller and a homeless man whose life is changed because of that advice. Directed by Terry Gilliam, this is priced at £29.99. The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart next. This is an Australian miniseries containing 7 episodes, and it's a drama about a teenage girl who's been abused by her father and is later taken in by a grandmother who is played by Sigourney Weaver. This one is priced at £24.99 and it carries a 15 certificate. Strange Darling next on 4K. I couldn't find a Blu-ray, but apparently there is one available. This is a thriller from last year, and it's about a serial killer that has a very busy evening. That's all I'm going to say on it. It's £24.99 for the 4K, and if you find a Blu-ray, that will cost you £14.99. Next is the 4K Criterion release of Lost Highway. This is a psychological thriller from 1997. It's directed by David Lynch. It's about an innocent man who is sent to prison for his wife's murder until he disappears and pops back up again as someone else. This is priced at £29.99 and it carries an 18 certificate. Next is Doctor Who The Collection Season 2. It's got William Hartnell as the Doctor. William played the first incarnation of the Doctor and played him for 3 and a bit seasons. There are 9 story arcs in this season, which ran from October 1964 to July 1965. There are 9 discs in this release and it is priced at £34.99. Shaun of the Dead next on 4K, celebrating 20 bloody years. Directed by Edgar Wright and starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost as 2 regular guys who are just trying to survive a zombie outbreak. This rom-com also stars Penelope Wilton and Bill Nye and is priced at £19.99. Black Phone next on 4K. This is a supernatural horror from 2021. The Blu-ray for this came out 2 years ago, so this took its time to come out. It's about a teenage boy who's abducted and held in a basement and gets help from an unusual source. £19.99 for this release. Psychopath's Providence. This is an animated sci-fi drama from last year and it serves as a prequel to Season 3 of Psychopaths. This was very successful, taking $641 million at the box office. Plus it was nominated for Best Film in the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. £14.99 for this movie. Next is Critters, a 4-course feast box set from Arrow. This science fiction comedy horror is a limited edition which contains Critters from 1986, Critters 2 the main course from 1988, Critters 3 from 1991 and Critters 4 from 1992. With this you get a double-sided poster and a 60-page hardbound book and it's priced at £54.99. Well, I've not filmed in CEX for a while, so let's take a look and see what I can find. Attack of the Adult Babies, limited edition. This is going for £24 on Amazon as a used copy, but you can buy a standard for just £8, so essentially the slipcover is adding £16. £20 for the Amityville collection. On Amazon, it's 28 new, so if you can forgive the tear in the box, then just go for this one. Action Jackson is £14.99 everywhere, so that's a saving of £3 from CEX. So here we have Blake's 7, pretty good condition, £38. It's 40 new in HMV and the same on Amazon. Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, the complete series, of £45. On Amazon it's £70, HMV £90, so a fair old saving there. Star Wars Episodes 1 to 6 for just £15. Now on Amazon it's £54 new or £13 used, so it would come down to its condition. Twisters for £10, that's not bad because it's keeping its £15 price tag everywhere else. Here we have Merlin, the complete 4th season, which is absolutely pointless getting because they've only released seasons 4 and 5, so not even worth investing in it at that low price. Don't Look Now with a slipcover for £6. Why I didn't pick this up myself, I just don't know, especially as it's going for £17 used. So here we have Doctor Who Season 1, and that is confusing, starting out with number 1 again. £38 for this in CEX, £50 on Amazon, and the same for HMV. Drop Dead Fred for £15, don't do it, it's £8 in HMV or tenner on Amazon. Despicable Me 4, on the other hand, is pretty good for a tenner. The Devil's Honey is only £1 more in HMV, so best get it new from there. The Bob Clark Horror Collection box set for £28 is a pretty good deal. You're saving between £10 and £15 with that one. And Being Human, the complete series for £32 is actually a great deal as this retails for around £100 used as it's now out of print. So if you see it and you want it, grab it. And in the window we have the Lord of the Rings 4K Steelbook collection in a metal case. You can actually pre-order this new. It comes out in March for £100, so £120 is a little bit steep for a used set. And then you can see they have a selection of steelbooks in the window. Hey everybody, welcome back. 4 titles to show you today. One is a box set, one is a miniseries, and one is a back catalogue title. The films that came out today that I picked up, I will show you next week. So let's crack on with it. Okay, first title to show you is Red Eye. This is a thriller from this year that was directed by Kieran Hawkes and it's created by Peter A. Dowling. Now this is a 6-episode miniseries which takes place during an overnight flight from London to Beijing. Now the red eye is a term to describe the look of the passengers. It's after their night flight, all red-eyed, fatigue, and it's not the airline itself. This stars Richard Armitage as Dr. Matthew Nolan. He has been accused of murdering a young woman in Beijing, to which he adamantly denies, and the woman is found dead in his car. Richard at this point is now in London, having returned to the UK with a stab wound, and all the details of this are covered in flashbacks during the show. Then we have DC Hannah Lee. She is assigned to escort Richard on the overnight flight back to face charges in Beijing. Hannah has been played by Jing Luzi, who you may know from the TV show Holby City. She was also in Gangs of London and Pennyworth, amongst others as well. Now Hannah, not exactly thrilled about going back to Beijing. She's got a bit of a history with Asia. This is a thriller, primarily set overnight on the flight, so you can expect lots of twists and turns and bodies showing up, having been murdered on board. I won't say any more story-wise, but there's a few juicy subplots going on throughout. And I will mention also stars Leslie Sharp as Madeline Delaney. She is the director of MI5. She's just come back after a long absence of leave, so she's thrown back into the deep end with everything going on board and in the office as well. Plus there's also Gemma Moore playing Hannah's sister Jess. She happens to be a journalist, and no, actually I won't say any more. It's got a runtime of 287 minutes. Let's take a look inside. There are 2 discs in this set and each one carries the front cover image. So that was Red Eye Season 1. Season 2 has now been confirmed, so you can expect Jing Luzi to return as DC Hannah Lee in the next season. Okay, next one to show you is Kensuke's Kingdom. It's an animated adventure from last year that was directed by Neil Boyle and Kirk Hendry, this being their first feature film together. Now this was written by Michael Morpurgo, who also wrote Warhorse, and although this is loosely based on Michael's life, at no point was Michael ever washed overboard in the Pacific Ocean, or has he lived on a semi-deserted island. So with that said and done, our story begins with an 11-year-old boy called Michael, who's voiced by Aaron McGregor. Michael embarks on a voyage around the world in a relatively small boat called the Peggy Sue. With him as his parents, voiced by Sally Hawkins and Cillian Murphy, and his sister as well, Becky, who was voiced by Raffi Cassidy. You may know Raffi. She was that android called Athena in Tomorrowland. Now, it's fair to say that Michael isn't exactly having a whale of a time on board. He's a little bit fed up having nothing to do because he's a little bit young, and one night when Michael's alone on top deck, it's revealed that he snuck his pet dog Stella aboard. And then we cut to a week later, very stormy night in the Pacific Ocean. Michael gets washed overboard because he's trying to get his dog to the safety of the cabin. Stella, the dog, joins him overboard in the process. Now the pair of them get washed up on a seemingly deserted beach the next morning, and I won't say any more story-wise, but I will mention that the title refers to another occupant on that small island, Kensuke, who is voiced by Ken Watanabe, who stars in the Godzilla franchise as Dr. Ishiro Zirazawa. Kensuke, it's revealed, has been on the island since the Second World War and the bombing of Nagasaki, which is depicted lovely in animation. This was an excellent film, simple but effective story, and the animation is just beautiful. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 24 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So the slipcover and the cover have the same image. The front cover image has been put onto the disc. And on the reverse of the cover, you have a close-up of that cover. You've got Michael there on the deck of Kensuke's treehouse overlooking the island. So that was Kensuke's Kingdom, and I recommend that film. If you like animation, or even if you don't like animation, that is a beautiful story. Next title is Body Double. It's a neo-noir erotic thriller from 1984 that's directed by Brian De Palma. Now his films include Scarface, Casualties of War, Mission to Mars, Carrie, The Untouchables, and the first Mission Impossible movie, so he's a very capable director. This stars Craig Wasson as Jake. He's an actor on a B-movie. And we open up on a very tacky looking film set. Jake is a vampire in a casket, and it all goes a bit sideways because as the camera goes in, he has a claustrophobic episode, and as a result he gets sent home a bit early, and he finds his girlfriend in bed with another man going at it like a rabbit. Not a very good day for Jake. He's now homeless because it was his girlfriend's place, and he meets a guy called Sam at an acting workshop. He tells Jake that he can house sit for one of his acquaintances. Sam is played by Greg Henry, who's worked with the director before, actually on 3 other occasions, on Scarface, Black Dahlia and Raising Cain. So later, Sam is showing Jake around this house that he's about to take care of, and he shows him that there's a telescope that actually overlooks a very sexy neighbour called Gloria, who enjoys dancing around in the buff at exactly the same time every single night. And it's fair to say that Jake likes to watch her. In fact, it soon turns into a little bit of an obsession, and Jake starts to follow Gloria around during the daytime. Jake later gets fired from the job that he's working on, and on his way home he notices there's a Native American who's also watching his very sexy dancing neighbour. That's all I'm going to say story-wise, but there's a lot more going on in this movie. Also stars Melanie Griffiths as Holly Body. She's playing a porn star. Well, you would with a name like that, wouldn't you? There's a lot of TNA in this film. Be warned if you're a bit of a prude. It also stars Dennis Franz as Ruben. He was the director at the start of the film that fired Jake from the B movie, and you'll know Dennis from Die Hard 2 as Captain Carmine Lorenzo in that. It's got a runtime 1 hour 54 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So on the disc we have an image of the house that Jake is looking after, and it's a very strange looking house. Looks more like a water tower to me, but it's a different image to the front cover, which is always a bonus. So that was Body Double. Next and last is Columbo, The Final Years, 1989 to 2003, the complete collection. That's quite a title, isn't it? Self-explanatory. Columbo, played by Peter Falk, came back to the show after 11 years for 24 more episodes. Now, I did show the first box set of Columbo, which was in video number 241, which was on the 17th of June this year. So feel free to check that video out after you finish watching this one, of course. In case you're unaware, it's about a brilliant police homicide detective called Frank Columbo who has an eye for detail, always gets his man or woman. He wears a suit but looks dishevelled. He seems unorganised, but he's meticulous in his craft. He drives a crappy old Peugeot that's never been cleaned, and he smokes a cigar. And he almost always pesters his murderers into confessing with his iconic catchphrase, "Just one more question." Now, as you would expect, it's got a number of stars that appear as either victims or murderers, and they include Patrick McGoohan from Danger Man and Prisoner. There's also Helen Shaver, who actually voiced the character of Gloria in Body Double, which I just showed you. In addition, we've got Ian McShane from Deadwood, John Wick and Lovejoy. You've got George Hamilton, Mr. Tan himself. He actually pops up in a previous episode of Columbo from 1975. Dabney Coleman, who passed away in May, he's in this as well. He was that sexist boss in 9 to 5. There's Faye Dunaway, William Shatner, Burt Young, Barry Corbin, who was the crooked prison warden in Stir Crazy, which I showed you last week, and even Billy Connolly stars in this as well. It's got a runtime of 2,242 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So just like the other box set, this one is quite flimsy. Got the title there with Columbo. You can see he looks dishevelled, and you've got information on the back. It comes in these 2 oversized cases. There are 6 discs in each. Now, if you look at the release of Lord of the Rings, there's 6 discs in those, and they've got them in a 14mm case. So why they couldn't do that for these, I don't know. In the first box set, we have discs 1 to 6. And the discs are plain blue with a red banner telling you which discs you have. On the reverse of the cover, for some reason, they've just put the title. And in case number 1, you do get an episode guide, and on the back cover, very nice, you've got a picture there of Peter Falk with Billy Connolly. And in case number 2, again 6 discs, and they are like a grey colour with green flecks on it, and you have the red bar telling you what disc number they are. And like case 1, on the reverse of the cover, you have the title repeated. And there they are inside. So that was Columbo, The Final Years, 1989 to 2003, the complete collection. So that was it. Have you seen any of those? Do you plan to pick them up or just want to leave a comment? Then do so down below. I will read every single one and try to reply if I have the time. Give the video a thumbs up, really does help the channel, and subscribe if you haven't. It's all free. Why wouldn't you? On that note, all that's left to say is thank you so much for choosing my channel today and watching my video. Take care. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.